What are you doing here? He's upstairs. I'll let you turn off the rest of the lay out the roads. It's just a matter of they want me to bring in the list. I didn't bring in this one. I just got the delivery this time. So that's why I'm making.
Well, I'm not sure. I didn't know. This is what I have.
I wish I was this kind.
Yeah, I just got it.
Oh, yeah.
The company's one.
Oh, okay. Kind of sound like a salesman. So the county's got
Oh, I'm sure you
No wonder I'm so
Is this a normal meeting or what? No, really?
You've been here long enough to know that's not true.
He's got some ideas I don't want to speak on.
I do all these and then. Did you give everybody something to sign?
No, we don't have any.
Divvy out the ones to sign. And then all you sign some that I review all that.
You know.
That's okay. We just try to save Matt some time. He's got plenty to sign down there.
But every once in a while. Oh, I know this. I don't remember my last.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about
Is there anybody on the county council?
I don't think so. Yes, yeah.
our budget request due to the county council. You don't know yet? So could we technically law on these budget increases until we see what the council is going to allow us to increase it to? We only got 1 minute. Hey, Mike, you got a second? Wouldn't it be really nice if we go ahead and do we can make it at least easy, so we work getting first.
Yes, and your practice, this is just revisit.
Oh, and then that has to be voted.
Just, you asked me to break down what those and it's the same thing you did before. Okay, so, these things. Correct. That's what you're already on, partial. It's not.
I should have waited 1 week, down sometime in here.
Everyone stand with the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mike, you just needed to hand this paper in. It's a record of the roads that we already agreed to accept for CSL in previous meeting. So it's here. Place, we were gonna go ahead and do the openings.
We have, today was the final day at 9 o'clock, and it looks like it's past 9. So we have several bids here open, and this way you guys have to open. Correct. I mean, that's what I always like to do. Looks like we have 4 bids. Right here that wants to present a bid. So we had like 7 take bids out, so we do 3 of them are too busy or whatever. So if you open them up now, and then we go to page 20, you can read them out. Right, here's that sheet. This is for the stormwater project and the potable water project. See how.
Hold on.
Yeah, on bid form 96, that is there's a total price.
I don't look right for me.
Okay.
Kitty, I'm gonna start. My bid was with Mitchell and Stark Construction Company.
So I start counting pages, I was like, I'm not seeing what I'm looking.
Total bid price, $991,229.17. You got it?
my bids for Lycans contracting. The total is $1,484,394.
Mine's on should, excavating, and it's 8,500, 8,000, like, let me start over again. $854,225.50.
Who is it from?
Yes.
Okay, next one I have is from Dave O'Meara. Total bid price, $953,184.57. So you're gonna review all these, make sure it is being provided with the recommendation.
That we're going to review the bid package, make sure it contains all the required documentation. Then we will make a recommendation to the commissioners on award of the best responsive bidder. And hopefully I'll have that at the middle of next week. So then you can decide before the next meeting to award the project. It does look like we have some really good numbers. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate everybody's hard work on it. We'll be in touch. We will send out a total with all the divisions listed and the actual unit prices. Probably Monday, to be honest with you, just for the contractors. So, and I'll make sure I copy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know what your estimate was? It was like 1.2, 1.19 something. 1.2.
Thank you, everyone that submitted it, appreciate it. Next up, Amy Thompson, Senior Housing.
I am here on behalf of senior housing. Senior housing has been a part of our community since 1978 when it was originally built. It has served the seniors and disabled in a capacity of it offers affordable housing. Each tenant is reviewed by their out-of-pocket medical expenses, and it is based, the rent is based on that. I did notice that Thrive Alliance was asking for some match money in order for their services. I want to go into a little bit of what they do for senior housing and what senior housing provides for them, just as information. Senior housing offers, with no charge, their rec room and their kitchen to Thrive Alliance in contract for what they do for senior housing. They provide meals. They also provide kits for the dementia. Senior housing is typically their last step before they go into a nursing home. We offer the affordable housing. We don't offer assistance as far as medical care. Those services have to come in from out of the community, and their families or the different services set those up for them. Our tenants are very low income. We only have rental assistance for half of the units. There are 84 units. With that being said, with the rise in cost of things, and also with the different guidelines that we have to follow as far as their out-of-pocket medical expenses, we're no longer allowed to take just over-the-counter things, stuff like that. So now then, we used to be able to. We have to include those, or we cannot include them in their rent evaluations. So the rents, and it typically are going up a little bit. When they typically move in, we try to make sure that they are covered in the services they need. Senior housing has been really thrilled to have Thrive Alliance on board, because the last thing that they try to afford is their food and their groceries. Everything else is usually their medical, anything like that. And what's left over is what they buy their food with and their groceries. You'd be amazed in looking at their budgets of what little they do have to spend. Thrive Alliance has come on board and they have provided meals at senior housing. That is their one site that they have that the public is all welcome to come in. There is no charge for those. It's been provided by the state. We are one of the counties that they service. They also do a lot of deliveries. They do in-home deliveries. A lot of our people cannot drive. They do deliveries throughout the county. I know you guys got a sheet of statistics of what all they do provide. They also provide stipends for the foster grandparent programs that go into the schools. And I know we house many foster grandparents. That is the one area that the seniors are allowed to get income that is not taxed, that can directly go to help them in their needs as far as after their expenses and stuff. So I'm just offering information on that basis, that it's a good program. I know you've been kind of grouped together with the Senior Center and Thrive Alliance. And I know the Senior Center offers a wonderful program. They're completely different than Thrive Alliance stuff and what they do offer. So, senior housing has been in the community since '78. We have 84 apartments. I will tell you that the office has not taken a raise for the last 20 plus years in order to keep those rents down. We make sure and run our budget very tightly. My grandmother originally managed it. My mother's there now. We have been involved just simply because the office has never been used as a full income. It's been a second income so that those rates don't go up so that we can help the seniors. So I'm just information on what a good program. Thrive and partners with us to help make sure that they are fit. A lot of them don't drive.
To give a little background on, I think why they're tied together was originally the commissioners only had $15,000 for those programs. So it wasn't that they were tied together, it was that they were tied together only as far as our budget. So what happened was instead of one group getting all of it and the other one getting none, we split it. I don't know how many years ago, Sandy, you might remember. It's been at least 8 years ago, I think, maybe that we, hasn't been more than, anyway, at least 8, that we split that just so we can try to service both. But I believe in these times that those days are gone and we're gonna have to figure out a way to budget for both. I don't think we can just take $15,000 and split it between the two anymore because the services are just, I mean, the required services have just outgrown, you know, what we had budgeted. So
it's a direct help to not only our tenants, but to the ones that they deliver to from our site. And they have, their match is required of 25,000 here locally, and they have gotten donations and worked and got the other 10 on that. I also have advised them to go to the city and ask for any. They hadn't done that yet, but I just wanted to stress how important it was. And I know the Senior Center, they serve, I'm not saying any one is better than the other. I'm saying that they're both.
and this is what I didn't want to happen. Is I don't want two agencies that are, I don't want you guys fighting against each other for funds. That's no one's gonna win.
They're both unique in what they do, and they both serve a needed area very much. So it's just a very needed area.
I think they
That's
both
why
do a
I'm
lot
here.
in the community. I mean,
Yeah, it's just an important thing to me, and I know to so many that in both areas.
Right.
So anyway, that's all I have today. Just a
Thank you.
little of information there on what they kind of do here in the community.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
it, thanks.
So Shane, did you talk to someone from the county council?
I'm waiting for a response.
So where we're at with this is we thought there's no way we can fill all the requests that have been asked because most have doubled and some have more than doubled. So Shane went out into the hallway before we started the meeting and actually called one of the members of the council, was waiting on a response to see if there's any way that we could possibly meet the needs of everyone that's on the list, because right now we just don't, I mean, we can say, you know, we're gonna approve it, but then if it gets cut when it goes to the council for our budget, then, you know, what have we really done other than just spun our wheels and provided lip service, which we don't want to do.
We're worried about what our budgets are gonna do to make sure we can fund them.
So I guess what I would say is probably all these ones on here. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know whether we want to put them to a vote. I don't really think there's a need till we see how much money we got. But I would say what we need to do is, as far as I'm concerned, I would agree with all the requests that are on the paper, providing that they're able to be funded. So I would say the best thing to do would be to wait for the council to get back with us and see if it's a possibility. And then if so, at the next meeting, just vote for the increases at that time. Because I mean, we could vote right now that we're gonna do all these things, but then if we turn it in and the council cuts it, we've basically done nothing. So does that make sense?
It does.
He just texted back, said don't know the exact date, but we have some time
So we definitely would have till the next meeting.
to talk to them and see where we're at.
That would be my recommendation, is that we table all these ones that are in here asking for the budget request increase, just to be sure that we can back it up with the actual money before we tell you that we're gonna do it. I mean, is everybody in agreement to that? I think it's a good idea.
We have documentation of the amount of meals that we serve, and we'd like to give that. I know you weren't here the last meeting.
I was skipping playing with it.
Good for you. I think you have two, but you did one for Bob there. Thank you.
So we have senior housing, Thrive Alliance. And who else is on here?
Senior Resource Center.
We got Senior Center, Thrive Alliance, JCC, domestic violence. And all those were on our budget for last year, correct? None of those are new.
I think they was all on last
I didn't
year.
remember the domestic violence one. It was on there last year.
Yeah, they come talk last year, I believe.
Okay. So my recommendation would be to table all of those until we get a chance to talk to the council and get some guidance from them, and then revisit them at the next meeting.
I'll make a motion to table all three.
I'll second.
Unanimous. But thank you all for coming, and thank you for what you do, and we'll try to get you a definite answer by next meeting. That works.
In 2 weeks.
Yep,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Next up, Randy Shepherd, assessor.
Just here to let you guys know, we have a state called meeting next month with the assessor's office we go to. I think you guys have the paperwork in your packet.
Is it a travel request?
Yeah. Yep. And attached to that is the letters from the state showing it's state called meeting. And,
You got this covered in your budget? Mine?
state called meetings.
Oh, green.
They're costing us some money.
You don't have to look at it that hard.
So you're taking a total of 4 people?
Yes.
Any discussion, or do I have a motion to approve the travel request?
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
I'll second.
Unanimous. Thank you. There you are, you're hiding right here. Next up, Jeff Walker.
Commissioners, thank you for your time this morning. I'm coming to give you an update about the bike and pedestrian plan process and ask for your blessing about a request for qualification document to send that out to firms. So just a quick update, about 3 weeks ago, the project advisory committee for this project, which that includes Greg Martin, Larry Greathouse, Roy Burr, my wife Hannah Walker, Chris Asher, Harrison Randall, Courtney and Brock Pacino, Missy Pappenheim, Wayne Zamora, Charlie Weber, Chad Spear, Debbie Brown, and Nancy Rosales, and Debbie is joining me today to shows up and be supportive. But the group met for the first time about 3 weeks ago and spoke with Pete Fritz, who's the grant manager for the Indiana Department of Health, for their contribution and part of the funds for this master plan process. And in that discussion, we went over basic logistics and grant administration requirements from the state, but he also gave us some recommendations about how to go forward in selecting a consultant firm for the planning process. So you all should have a draft document I sent, I think, at the end of last week over to Kitty. Thank you for providing that to the commissioners. That was based on some recommendations that Pete from the state gave us to do a request for qualifications and to get statements of qualifications back from different consulting firms. And then if you'll notice in that on the back sheet, and I have a few documents today. I had the group give me some edits they wanted to see. There's nothing too substantial compared to what you all have in your hands, other than some clear point of contact and mailing address information. And I also included the city of North Vernon and town of Vernon under the parties involved explanation in that document, which were not there previously. But on that final page, the schedule of selection that we're looking at as a group, and what we would hope to do is receive those statements of qualifications and then come to you all and talk with the council about a recommendation at that point, once we know who's interested in helping with the plan process. But we want to send these out by August 3rd, have proposals submitted by August 19th, and then we'd like a sub-portion.
I would need,
All right, we'll have a review of those statement of qualifications on the week of August 22nd for a short list of firms that the group is interested in. We'd like to do interviews with them the week of August 29th. And then that following week after Labor Day, do an evaluation and selection of the firm. We would obviously be in communication with you all in the council at that point and throughout the process. So we wanted to bring this to you for Alex, and for anyone else who'd like to see the few edits I've added to the document. I have some copies to share.
Well, frankly, I would have liked to have seen this before this morning.
My apologies. Learning as we go.
I had one question about that.
Yes.
Which fell in Alex's category was, is it legal to invite people for a request? I mean, so someone that's not invited can't come back later and say, I mean, you still have to advertise
How
it.
much is the project?
The total project fund budget that we have is $40,000, so it should be below.
So it's under the, it's
Yeah.
under.
Yeah.
What is the threshold? Is it?
The 150 or
All over 40,000.
Okay, so any project under 150, you really don't even have to post it. Yeah, okay. All right. That was a question I had, so we're good.
great. And then for anyone who would like to pass the copy with edits around, I've highlighted the additions I made edits based on feedback that the group had. Like I said, that's mostly just more clarification on who they can reach out to with questions, or if we can mail the documents to the plan. Assuming that you all are okay with this. Yeah.
So you're asking for both electronic copies and physical copies to be submitted?
Yeah, Randall Harrison, who's on the project advisory team here locally, was volunteered by Billy Martin to come help us, because I'd asked if they could provide someone who would have some construction experience to advise us on like how this process usually works. Obviously, this isn't a project that they would be interested in. So Randall suggested that as something he's seen other communities put out in the request for proposals or qualifications.
So you're here basically asking for our blessings to continue.
Yeah, we want you to be informed about the process and how the group would like to carry it out and make sure that you're okay with that.
We need to review that.
Okay,
When do you, for your time, what I would recommend we do is we say we're okay with it as long as Alex doesn't find any flaws in the process. And if you do, oh, okay, well, he says he's gonna look at it and get back with you in the meeting.
Alex, I appreciate that. Sorry to put you in that spot. All right,
He's a speed reader.
You lucked out.
I did. He's in a good mood today.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Start to think what he thinks about you.
I know. All right, I'll hang out. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Next up, Pat Sullivan.
Thanks, Matt. Pat Sullivan here representing Hayden Wastewater Utility, and this is our clerk, John Stoner. We tried to make things simple here. We're here to ask for a little help. It's kind of a good thing, bad thing that's hot in here. REMC is, Jackson County REMC is installing fiber optics to all their customers. They're in our area now. They'll be going to home next 2 weeks and into the fall. And it should be completed. Our problem is the cost of locates. And to give you just a little bit of background, it's been a long time ago now, it seems like, since the Hayden area was cited by IDEM and said we had to put in a sewer system. And at that time, JNRU was already halfway over to the Hayden area, and it was going to be very expensive. And so a group of us went in and petitioned and didn't have any problems getting the signatures for petitions to do something different. And long process, we got it funded finally through USDA. All of it ended up being like a $4.8 million project. And we got all except $1,017,000 in grants. And our rates are based upon paying back that $1,017,000 over a 40-year period. We're pretty lucky because we got like 1.875%. So we are a nonprofit government entity, and we operate on a shoestring. There's some bullets here to kind of help and show you what can happen. We currently serve 176 customers, and the vast majority of those, of course, are single homes. The Hayden School is on it, a couple of businesses, and our area churches. Approximately already 80, I've talked with the folks at RMC, 80% are signed up to be hooked on, and they even expect more to hook on as they go through. So getting fiber optic in rural areas especially is a good deal. But we stand to have a huge cost in the locates. And I've talked with Matt on the phone about it a little bit, and you would think all of our stuff is about 2 foot deep. Most of what they do is only about a foot. And I guess there are some areas where and I had the same response that Matt did to me when I wrote, so why do you even have to locate? Well, we don't have a choice. It's Indiana law. And when they call 811, we have to go out and locate, and we bear the cost of that. And so we're talking about minimal cost of over $14,100 just there. And they told us that they have to come back, and quite understand the whole deal. Some will have to be located twice. And, you know, just so you kind of understand how.
So be sure it didn't move on you.
No. Well, so you understand how difficult it is for us to be. Right now, we're about $1,637 to the good. We have, and John can talk about this, add just a couple other things here. We try to keep our rates as low as possible. When we started, they were like $52 and something, and that was after paying a rate consultant $30,000, which we were forced to do of our money to figure out what the rates were going to be. And boy, they sure missed it. You know, I could have done a lot better job than that with no knowledge, I think. But so we have raised rates twice. Since then, our current rates are $71.50 a month. And in order to have gotten those grants and gotten the money, we had to do the income survey. And we had to fight to not just be Spencer or the whole Spencer Township, but just the area that was involved. And when we did that, that came up to over 70-some% low to moderate income, and that really helped us get the money. But now that's I can tell you that it's typical. We have what, maybe 14% roughly.
14.6% delinquency rate right now, as of yesterday.
And we follow Indiana law. I mean, they get a 60-day notice, and they get a 90-day notice, and at 120 days, we have to file a lien. And we do that religiously. And we get, when they pay their property taxes, we get money back, which is always kind of baffles me because it costs more than this is why they do that. But just for an example, this last time, only 2 people paid their property taxes out of all of our liens. So, and we had to replace one of our main pumps in the treatment area. And that pump is costing over $5,000. And we just had our first State Board of Accounts audit. And you guys have probably been through that. That was fun for John especially, but that was over $5,000. So we've worked hard, and there's a letter here kind of attesting to that from the RCAP people. I don't know whether you're familiar with RCAP. I'm sure you guys are, the Rural Community Assistance Program. And I'd like to read that right quick. You guys have it, but it's from Vicki Perry, who's the state director of RCAP. She kind of summarized things here a little bit. The Indiana Rural Community Assistance Program has been working with the Hayden Regional Sewer District since before construction, providing assistance and training in the technical, financial, and managerial areas of running a utility. Because of the board's hard work in planning, the utility is financially stable. However, RCAP is concerned about the possibility of the regional sewer district having to cover the cost of locates throughout the district due to the RNC internet project coming through sometime this year. The RSD is responsible for wastewater treatment in unincorporated areas, providing a valuable service to the county that promotes economic development. The RSD supports the economic development that the new internet will provide, but it cannot afford to subsidize it. Therefore, RCAP supports the Hayden RSD's request that the county appropriate ARPA funds to help with the total cost of the necessary locates. So, you know, we're like we need a little help because if we're, the only way we have to make up things like this is to raise rates. And if we have to put that out, you can see it could be anywhere from 9 to 12% rate increase. And I hate to do that to our customers.
Did you talk to REMC to
Yes, I
see?
did. Yes, I have.
They didn't have anything to help on their end.
You know,
Because in my opinion, they're the ones installing, and they're gonna be collecting, you know, money
I know that.
for their service.
I know
So,
that.
so why would they not pay for the locates?
That's the whole state of Indiana. Whoever, the utility pays for the cost of the locates. I was shocked to learn that myself when I first found out. So RMC, they'll be locating their own stuff. But we're the utility. we have to pay that cost. They don't.
You would have thought when they went through and got their grants, they would have put all that in to save small businesses like these.
Well, and we have just recently, you know, it mentions that on here, got a new locator. And so we've cut our costs down now, but this reflects that. The new one, so that was about 40%, 41% cost reduction from the people that were locating before. So, and we didn't have that many before, you know, a new house, which we don't have that many of going up, or somebody gonna dig here or there. So, and all of our stuff is, every bit of our equipment is marked with tracer wire. So we're kind of between a rock and a hard place, and you know, we'd like to request 20,000 and to make sure that we can get it done without having to raise rates. And hopefully it's a one-time thing. And I have to admit, you know, through this whole project from the beginning, it took over a decade, took a dozen years from beginning to end. We only came to the commissioners, I think, once to ask for help, and that was in the beginning to pay for soil samples, because we didn't have any money. You know, you can't pay for things. If that was fun trying to build something and having to pay costs, but you don't have any money until you get the money. So, and you guys help us out then. So, you know, we're requesting some help again.
Well, you guys in Campbell Township was both put in a hard place because they forced you into it.
Oh, we had to do it. We had to do it. And if we were going to be fined, what's $1,000-something a day? Of course, the fine would go to the commissioners, you know, because we're unincorporated. But so, you know, we know how hard we've worked and the due diligence that we've done. We have a good board, and we don't own any equipment. We don't have any full-time employees. We contract everything out, so we don't have to pay any health welfare or anything like that. So we do the best we can, but we're gonna need a little help.
What's the time deadline for you? Because we actually have a committee that will be meeting to discuss how all the ARPA funds are gonna be spent. So
I tried to pin it down, Matt, and they, all I know is they're there in that area. They do the mains first, and that normally doesn't involve us because most of those are overhead. So I anticipate they'll be starting in the next 4 weeks or so.
But you've got a little money to get by with. You can survive a little longer if we can get.
It depends, well.
not with $1,600 in the bank.
Yeah.
No, but I assume that changes
We've got
monthly.
more in the bank right now. That's what we've operated on this year. We are positive to $1,600. So even if we turned in receipts or something and then just were able to be reimbursed for that, that would help us get by without having to raise the rates.
The committee that we have is probably not gonna be able to review this on a weekly or monthly basis, so
When are you guys meeting? You know,
I don't even think the first meeting has been
second,
scheduled. It was supposed to be, and then somebody left, but I mean, I obviously, I want to help you because, I mean, it's like I've told everybody, guys, if we don't somehow figure out how to subsidize Campbell Township sewer and you guys, and possibly in the future, maybe JNRU a little bit, those are all gonna fall back on us anyway.
we're gonna have the whole thing.
We're gonna have the whole thing, and the county does not want to be in the sewer business, I guarantee you.
Yeah, I'll go over that.
Yeah,
So I didn't want to be in it either, but here I did.
But then you see how this whole entire meeting has gone. It was, once you do have a little bit of a window there, then everybody comes and you got to figure out how much you got and how you can divvy it up. So,
Well, and all I can say is that, you know, this isn't something that, I mean, we never intended to have to come.
and I don't think you should have.
You guys for anything, but
I
this
ultimately think
puts
it's
us in a
falls
bad
back
spot.
on, I mean, I seriously think it falls back on REMC, but if they're not gonna do it, we don't want them to say, okay, we'll just forget it, we're not gonna install your fiber, because then that, we've lost there too, so.
Are you guys dealing with Jackson County on that?
Yeah,
I'm assuming
it's
that's.
Jackson
their-
County RMC.
Like I said, I know somebody really well on the Osgood side. I could call them to see if there's something we don't know about.
Yeah, be my guest. that would be great.
I need to contact him about some other stuff.
They're pretty much bound that when, anytime they're gonna be digging, they gotta call 811. And once that call goes in, we have no choice. We have 48 hours, I think, to locate. And,
I get that on a business that's making good money, like a Jennings Water or something, but you guys are a completely different situation.
because really, both are very important infrastructures. And it pits one government entity against another, or one, utility against another.
But I think ultimately the committee's decision is gonna be to try. I mean, we were talking about doing $1 million in additional paving with the money. And I think that's probably gonna have to be cut down, and then you're gonna have to take a portion of the $1 million and divvy it out to like you guys and Campbell Township Sewer, because, like I said, ultimately, if you guys go broke, we're in the sewer business anyway.
Yeah, sure.
And it's gonna cost us a whole lot more than 20 grand.
But you both got problems, so we might as well help them both at the same time.
I agree.
Okay. Well, thank you. Any other questions? Call me, call our, we have a website, you can call.
What we definitely don't want is we don't want you going in the arrears on your payments on your obligation.
Oh, no.
Because that starts all kinds of other issues, so we don't want to get to that point.
We actually, by law, it took us a while to get there, but we built up, we have 2 different funds that by law, we built up to, so we can make that yearly payment to USDA. So yeah, we don't want that to happen, because then you have it, then it gets privatized is what happens. And now you have a for-profit outfit running it, and we don't want that. We got a lot of good folks out there. We got some young folks on the board who are willing to step up and take over when old guys like me get out. So we got to keep it going. Thank you.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch as soon as that
Okay.
committee has a meeting.
What is that?
Well, I don't think the meeting is even tentatively been scheduled, but it sounds like we better hurry up, because you guys are gonna need money within 4 weeks.
And normally we get the bills for 1 month, they're paid the next.
But you think the 20 is that's what you really need? Do you think you feel comfortable there?
I feel comfortable with that. I mean, I think that'll cover. We don't know how many, they're gonna have to go back twice. And interestingly enough, even because there's a pump at every one of our tanks. RMC, we pay for drops, and then it spiders out from there. You think that they could locate those, we have those lines are ours now, from that drop in there, so we gotta locate both electrical and our piping. You guys think anything this?
Looks like Hayden's gonna have a lot of orange flags in their backyard. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You good with it? Yeah, if I made a couple of doodles on your
Okay.
changes, but otherwise I'm fine with it.
It looks all right.
Cool. So do we need to vote then to allow? Okay. I have a motion to go ahead and allow Jeff to proceed with the bike trail project.
I'll make a motion, Lauren, to move forward.
I'll second.
Unanimous.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for all you've been doing for us, buddy.
You're welcome.
I realize your name is brought up a lot in here. I try to take up for you. They just, whenever you're not here, they're just like, Jeff Walker, do you? And I'm like, God, this guy's only got so much time.
That's the truth, and thank you for. Have a good one.
Yeah, thank you. So the top 3 here have already been addressed on the things to discuss. Highway bids.
Here from this one, All Star.
So this is from FPVH.
Through those back.
So we have a letter from FPBH, the engineers that did the bids for, community crossing paving grant. And it says, we have reviewed all of the bids from the bid opening on July 14th, 2022, and have found the required paperwork is in order per the attached bid form. Therefore, we recommend this project be awarded to All Star Paving in the amount of $835,532.75, which reflects the base bid. A certified bid tab has been attached. Josh Shaw. So you're gonna need 3 signed copies of this?
Yes.
So do I have a motion to award the bids to All Star Paving?
I'll make a motion to award it to All Star.
I'll second.
Unanimous?
You want all 3?
Yes. I need 3 and then one goes to the author.
You don't mind what color ink with it now?
Wait a minute, I think I'm the only one signing that.
Yeah, it's Matt. That's what I'm signing.
One. Two.
This is the right of way service rehabilitation of Jennings County Bridge 66 over Otter Creek. This is the consultant fee. It's down there. 32, not to exceed over 32,400.
Is this anything we've discussed previously?
As far as I know, you guys have.
I thought Jim said we did, we just need to sign it.
Yeah.
That's all it needs.
Where's this bridge at?
I think it's the one, Grant. Off district.
Yeah, I think it's going down by 67,
66.
66.
No, well, it may be, you're not talking about the one behind Grand Creek School.
That's what I thought.
of Bridge 66 on County Road East over Otter Creek.
Well, then that's not it, that's not Otter Creek down there.
No, that's Grand Creek there.
Otter Creek would probably be in my district. I don't even know what bridge.
It doesn't even have the county road number on here, so I don't know that they have like that.
This is just for the engineering on it though.
Jim didn't say anything to me about the engineering, he just said about the right of way we needed to
The
sign.
right of way consultant fee. Project description right there.
This isn't against you, I'm getting a little tired of departments bringing 30-day contracts in the meetings and expecting me to read them right here.
See, he's not in a good mood.
I'm just throwing it out there because this isn't the first time.
And he did it the week before.
Yeah.
I'm good with making the table if you.
Is there a time deadline or time restraint on this or do you?
I have no idea. He just told me, have you guys sign it?
in their defense, usually all these
Usually
bridge
they're
consult, they're all cookie
self-work,
cutters, yeah,
yeah.
they're, but with
But-
it not having the actual road number,
I have a problem with that.
exactly, and I do too.
I would like to go to Jim and see what the road number is.
No, I'd recommend tabling it until Dean Longest and Neff can fix their consulting contract. Have the proper road number.
I don't even know why they would have sent it without it.
I agree.
So I have a motion to table the contract until they can be repaired,
I'll make the motion to table.
I'll say.
unanimous.
And I would ask that it be sent to him before the next meeting if possible.
Send them to him and then he can bring them to the next meeting.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's the problem when Jim don't show.
Yeah. Jane, you guys have anything? Something that just my phone just like keeps ringing off the hook, or it's kind of slowed down a little bit here lately and we got two individuals in here. Kind of a good time to discuss it if you guys don't care. The polling locations last time, I know Bob, you were kind of passionate about wanting to put them back, and my only theory was I like the way, I like what you guys said as far as, the polling, the little electronic pads you got wouldn't work at some locations. So I didn't want to just willy-nilly say that we need to go back and put all the polling locations back where they were, because obviously if we do that and then your little electronic things don't work, then that's not good. So can we take a few minutes and have a discussion about, because John Q. Public out here that wants to go vote at the Zenith Church or at Marion Township's rec center or wherever, they're upset because they didn't get to vote in those places. And I would like to put them back if it's possible to do so. But I want to be sure that we don't just willy-nilly up and do something that throws everyone into a tizzy, because that does not good. So can we have a little discussion on that?
Amy, can you come up?
And I also want to be sure I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. It's just people just keep calling and I don't know what to tell them. So if the parties are all in here, I think that's the best way to do it.
Well, Andrew is a member of our board, county election board, so you have two of our three.
Correct.
And so we had moved locations. There's an Indiana code that states that it says the county executive or the county election board can move if necessary. And that's what we did because of the internet connections to the e-poll pads. And we wanted to be able to make sure that we could use them correctly. And so then we have told the public that we would discuss this. I just was mulling this over yesterday, in fact, and I think before we make a decision, we really need to literally drive out. What we have to have is a cell phone service. Internet is one thing, but we have to have cell phone service because the state of Indiana provides us with what they call a puck, and that feeds off of cell phones. And what we wanted to do is drive out. That's why I didn't bring it today, because I hadn't talked to Alex and I didn't want to bombard without letting the board know. But I think that we really need to literally drive to these locations and see if we have at those locations proper, because they've done different things with the towers and stuff, proper cell phone service that's not broken up, and then come back and discuss what we can and can't do.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yes.
And I'd like to have some public opinion on it,
Yeah.
because none of us want to be, raked over the coals over trying to have a good election that the machines work properly.
And another thing I was gonna say is okay, you might find that it works perfectly in Bob's area, but it doesn't work at Zenith. And if we can't put them all back and we have to eliminate a few, I think at least that we've made the attempt to get as many of them, and I don't see how anybody can be angry with that. If it won't work, it won't
If
work.
it don't work, it don't work.
If we make the attempt, I think that the the public will be satisfied with that.
Now, Indiana code does talk a lot about the commissioners setting the sites,
Mhm.
and that's where you guys have come in. Now, each election, I have to sit down very much in advance to the election and call those sites and make sure that they're available. We have several that are gonna change. The Hayden Baptist, the church, the Baptist Church on Hayden Pike is going to be hosting a school. We use them for a site. They are not going, we use the gymnasium there, that light center for our elections. And I believe Jeff was over there last time. That's not gonna work. They're not gonna relocate a whole school. So when I call, they're probably gonna tell me, no, we'll need to find a new site. I run into this type of thing each time. When I first started Marion, I didn't realize that would happen. And one of the sites out at Marion said that we couldn't use them because there had been damage. So right then my light bulb went off to make sure and always go and check before and after to make sure there's no damage, because we would want to take care of that from our board and from you and not have a problem. So that site had to be moved over to the community center. We wasn't even aware. They had said they let Bob know, but that it didn't come to our office, and I don't know where the breakdown was. Each time I actually call, they have to go to their boards of directors to make sure their schedule permits it. I try to call in enough in advance because a lot of the churches have Boy Scouts and things like that. Sometimes it doesn't work. So each time there's confirmation, it's 3 days. I have to line up who gets the keys, who's going to go back and forth. So if the commissioners want to take this over, it's going to make it super difficult if we have this back and forth thing on who talked to who, well, who did what, where are we going to go?
That's why we're having this discussion today, because I don't want to make anything any more difficult than what it is. Just if we can put some of them back or all of them back, if it's possible, like I know Zena's got fiber. I think
And
sometimes,
fiber, I want to make sure fiber is
Right.
going to be the same thing as the cell.
and then the other question I had is, isn't there some technology out there, like you said, cell phone service, which Nate, I've said a million times, one of my short calls is, I'm not an IT guru. That's basically why you're here. So is there any kind of device that we can buy to have like 5 or 6 of them on standby that will boost?
Well, I was wanting to look at what we have because the state awarded us with 40 of these pucks that are,
It's my five.
so I would want you to look at those before we purchase additional, because they work great with what we had. And in what we had, we didn't realize that some of the places we were even in the primary didn't offer Wi-Fi in the location. And they did in the church, but some of them was in the basement and the Wi-Fi didn't go all the way up. Their Wi-Fi wouldn't reach without boosters. We were able to use that because it was through that cell phone service. And I might be completely wrong because I'm not IT, but that's just what I'm repeating what was told.
Yeah, I would need, it sounds like the actual devices are using the Wi-Fi enabled, and then they gave you cell phone repeaters to
We
get a
pay
Wi-Fi.
for, yeah.
Well, if there's fiber ran to the place now, we can go in and put a Wi-Fi router, you don't even need those little 3G, 4G adapters. You would have Wi-Fi.
Would we have to then hook into that site's Wi-Fi? And would we have to have them
Or just
permission?
put our own little router on their network, wherever. it's
And we're
at.
talking 25 locations and very busy and
Be intense.
going. And it takes me, just to set up what we have, it takes me from 8 in the morning until about 5 in the afternoon. And that is, we're adding to that now because it took all day to do it with just the putting in the Wi-Fi pucks and making sure for our inspectors that those were up and running and no glitches.
See, now I thought what we were talking about was we only had to make alterations to the ones that we eliminated because they weren't working. But you're saying you would want to make these alterations to all the locations?
If we're talking about using a different device that the county's purchasing, I want to make sure that we're not changing things, and it works with our device.
We really don't want to purchase anything if we don't have to. It's just, we just.
We just want to see if it's gonna work in those
If it will-
locations.
Yeah.
If there's a device. that
If
will
there's a
help
device
us.
that will help us work on those locations that we eliminated, that's, I think, the direction that we want.
We're just trying to appease the public that's complaining that they can't vote.
Because I mean, there was a lot of people in Columbia Township that told me they didn't go vote because they didn't want to drive all the way to Campbell Township. Now, to me, I didn't care. I don't care. I mean, I'll go vote.
Well, I will
wherever.
tell you that our voter turnout, if you take the, which there was very low, and James done a good job in getting candidates now, but there was very, very, very few Democrats on the ballot. So you only really had a Republican primary turnout. If you take and add a typical year just prior that you had a full slate of Republicans and Democrats, we had a higher turnout for that. So if you add that back in, those voters back in that would have been the Democrat voters, you would have had a much higher turnout with our ratings. And our percentages were higher than many, many, many counties, even with the lack of the Democrat candidates, because it was low all over the state of Indiana.
How many
So that's
How many
kind of,
locations was we missing? I'm not even 100%. How many you changed?
and I didn't bring my notes. So we moved everything up in the lower part and combined over into Cedar Creek. So I think that it was a total, do you remember, 4?
Four, I believe.
I
Four
believe
is what I was
four.
Four.
And if we're gonna play willy-nilly with the sites, I think we need to either go back all or not, because then you're gonna have people saying, why me and why not me? It's, yeah, honestly.
I think the first thing that we need to do is to physically go
And see what,
to each one of these sites with the equipment that we currently have.
that's what we.
I would
and
agree.
See
Mhm.
how it works.
I mean, to me, that's the only fair way to do it, to keep people happy anyways.
I was asked to just come in here and to just vote to put them all back, and I'm not for that if it's not, I mean, if it's not gonna work.
If the commissioners want to take control
Oh,
of
we
the
don't want
sites,
them. We
I
don't
want
want
you to
control of
take
the
full
sites.
control of the sites, because putting them back, I mean, if you want to step in and take full control, because since I have been elected, I have used the portion that says that the county election board can move as needed. But I don't want back and forth and us not knowing and me not having a
That's
site
why
on
we're
election
having
day.
this discussion.
It gets confusing.
I mean, personally, I would drive to Scipio to vote because I'm gonna vote no matter where you tell me I gotta vote.
I will
But
say.
there's an older population that they've been set in their ways and they just, you
And
know,
I-
they just want to do it.
and I appreciate
right
that.
there.
We had many people call, and there were, in fact, some of the older that didn't want to drive. There was the majority of them that were calling that voted absentee for the last, since back in '04 that was calling in. And I know that they can vote in person, but their record shows that they were not voting in person. So 99% of our calls were from people who vote absentee that were calling just to be calling.
Marion, they can get internet there. If not there,
It's cell phone service, Bob, that we have
well,
to
they
check.
got cell phone service there, because I call down that area all the
And the
time.
last time I spoke with them down there, it was bad. And I want to check
And
with
so-
my board to see.
Well, if we can't have it at the community center, we can have it at United Christian Church, and we got it there.
There was one of the churches down there that had refused, so
Well,
I need to
United
speak
didn't.
with them. Okay.
United didn't.
Does it meet all of the requirements for a site,
Has to be ADA accessible. And
inside and out?
in addition to,
I would go back to what our original recommendation was, go back to the sites that we know worked, that we've had it at in the past, and do your test, and if it will work, we'll have a further discussion at some other time. Dave, go ahead.
I have a caveat on that, you need 3G connection to do data, not just
Yeah.
voice. So I would take your MiFi and make sure you can surf the web at that location.
yeah.
You might be able to make a phone call, but that doesn't mean that data will flow.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's,
what-
is it 3 or 4 G that the bucks give us?
At least 3G.
I bet you the pucks are 4G.
It says 4,
I
but
don't know, United, because they got Wi-Fi there.
And we do intend to work things out with the Shriners building. Now, that shouldn't be a problem. That location was moved. So anyway, we'll just maybe regroup, come back and give you our findings on the service available. Does that sound acceptable?
Doesn't it?
And what date do you need to have the location established? I can't recall.
It's 29 days prior to the election. Unless there's some type of a complete disaster, and then you
Right.
can up to 2 days before.
Right.
But we'd like to make this clear.
Sure, but we've got time is what I'm
Yes.
asking.
Yes, we have time. Yeah,
Sure.
that's why I didn't want to bombard you today with things, but.
And we prefer not to have to buy any equipment or have Nate install anything in the building that we don't know. But if it's something that we just need to do for one location or whatever, I think we would be perfectly fine with that. So if you can research that, it'd be great.
Coffee Creek Christian, they got Wi-Fi too.
Coffee Creek is not allowed us to use their site.
Baptist didn't, but Christian,
I have called and called and called. And the sites that we had used prior was the sites that was the only ones I could find that were compliant, that would allow us. When I sit down and make those phone calls, numerous ones do not allow us to use their sites. It takes a long time, and then you end up with scheduling and stuff on them. So
it sounds
the
like,
churches do not have to let us.
Right.
School, there is a Indiana code provision for schools that they are to, and they are to take an e-learning day. They have not wanted to do that. And I have not pushed that. That would be nice, but it still brings us up like we did in COVID. It brings us up to those sites, but that relationship is not there as far as them adding another e-learning day for that.
Well,
They're
there's a
not.
new superintendent, a new school board president, you might want to check on that too. Just-
But
just
that
a
again,
thought.
true, and I thought of that when I was reading through all of this yesterday, as far as what sites.
what I was thinking was with all the mass school shootings and all that stuff now, I mean, I'm really not in favor of using
I think it's like the last group.
unless they do an e-learning day.
And we don't even want to approach it without an e-learning day because the traffic and the kids and everything, and like you said, people that, yeah, we haven't had any incidents and we're very glad about that. But there's no provision to require churches and private organizations. It's government buildings, fire stations, and schools is what it names. So these little churches that we use throughout don't have to work with us.
Okay.
So,
but if it's community center, you can't get it there, they can have that United.
and I would want to speak.
And you
to
can call
them.
me and I'll tell you, you can. 'cause
But it
I'm the
has to
chairman
be
of the board.
compliant with it. It has to fit our guidelines that were required, because I will tell you right
Wi-Fi, you
now,
got Wi-Fi,
the ADA requirements, they are inspecting. I have to do a report of every one of every site, and they are doing audits on those. So it has to be compliant. So,
Okay, all right.
so we got that, we got the AD handicap and all that,
the restrooms, the whole 9 yards.
and we got restrooms too.
Okay. We will keep that in mind. Thank you much.
Okay, is there anything else we need to discuss about that?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Not that. I think Mary has a travel request in August for a district recorders meeting, and I have money in my budget, and I'm the only one
You're the only one?
on it. The only one.
We don't have paperwork on it though?
Correct, correct. I'm not asking for any money.
I know, but the state board of accounts makes us keep a little file with all the little travel request things in it, like if you're gone there at certain times. So if you don't mind, can you still fill, even though we're doing any money, can you still just put your name on the bottom of the paper so we can put it in the file? They're the ones that required us to do this travel request thing. It wasn't, we didn't bring that up, so.
What's that? I do have a conference coming up, a state called, but it's not until like September. Is there a time frame?
We don't care on the time frame, but we just had to have a travel request policy, and we have to have a little file that we keep all those in. So when the state board of accounts does an audit, they can pull it out and say, oh, Amy Thompson wasn't here this day. Oh, here's why she was at this.
Oh, I figured it was for insurance purposes too, on who you had going.
That could be too. I don't know, but anyways, we had to have it, so that's why it was established. So when is that? Mary, do you have time to get us that little paper for
I
next
have
week?
time to get you that one thing.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Did you have anything else, Kitty? The conference tables. I guess they want us to vote on that tonight or today.
Yeah.
Was Marie not planning on coming to the meeting? Did I have?
She's on Zoom. Very planning on Zoom.
These two things, it's not on my agenda. But I have two, things from the area planning commission in my package. Do they need to be addressed in any way?
She just said that, she needed to make you aware of it.
So we don't need to discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that next one, that actually contains the
We just talking about you.
She heard you talking.
That's weird.
You got good ears.
I can hear you, but I couldn't see anything. No, it's not you, it's my computer.
So you didn't need to have any discussion. You're just making us aware of this legal hearing. And then the next thing was what, Kitty?
It's in regards to, it looks like it's in regards to Bridge 66. I didn't know that was the county name that you were talking about earlier.
This is all stuff that Jim pretty much has to be here to explain what this is and what the purpose of it is, and it has to be approved with Alex before it comes to us, because like he said, getting it like,
I think this actually came as in a letter form from the particular company.
but this should have been a part of everything else that we already addressed. It should have all been together. He should have reviewed it
Right.
so that we would know that it's good. So again, I think that's one that we need to
I don't worry
I
about it.
just want to
address.
point it out.
Does it have road number on it?
190. 190 east of Rock Creek.
Well, you know, that kind of answers the question on the contract when it said east, county road east. I got a feeling 190 is what goes in there.
I agree, but it's still
Yeah.
not in that contract. so-
We can't add it to their contract, so it's still. Okay, so we can't really address that. Does anyone else have anything in the crowd before we go on to the boring stuff? Oh, yeah. You want to vote on the tables?
I'm not for spending the office center 33,000. I'll tell you that.
Who? Is this the county council that's wanting these?
Yes, that table on your end is broken.
Oh,
I didn't do it.
so Woodall did it at their plan.
Yeah, that's where he sits.
Right, Marie? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm definitely not for the office center. No, I don't want to spend that kind of money on
What I
a
can
table.
tell you this, Aaron Barntrager is the Amish guy, and he did the cabinets in my house. And I mean, they are beautiful. He did a wonderful job. Speaking for him, you know, personally, but I've got no problem with his work as far as what he did to my own house. It's his the cheapest.
Yeah, it's 13,500 plus tax.
The only thing that bothers me about his is it says prices are subject to change depending on solid surface color. So
You should give us an option of what the price is gonna change.
What table to replace?
This
Right
one.
there? How much are they?
Well, the office center wants $33,530
But
for a
they're
table.
not just tables.
no,
No, it's a full desk,
Okay,
basically.
Conference, like a full-
It's like a,
It's like that.
Okay, all right. Same thing, that's, we didn't know yet.
no, they're not tables like this.
It's surprising. I mean, our desks alone are like 2,000, so.
Well, yeah.
have you ever been to Versailles?
What is wrong with the tables that we have? I hate to ask, but.
These are broken.
They're broken and we don't.
That there's dip big time, I can see that one, that there's.
There's not enough space up there. You need
They're not
some
safe,
boards.
yeah.
When we're all at a big meeting, there's not enough seating for everybody.
It's probably more for area plan than the council than it is for us, because I'm perfectly fine if we were all sitting at one table.
Yeah, they're just.
And for some reason,
You've got to put casters under them for the amount of moving.
That's what these are. Have you ever seen the school
No,
boards?
but that's a good idea.
There you go.
the council,
Because they're so heavy, it probably breaks the track.
they want a table that sits more in a U-like form where they're kind of facing each other instead of everybody being in a straight
And
line.
they're all tied into, they each would have microphones, and then they each would have access to, for your laptop and all that kind of stuff.
My experience in dealing with some of these companies is that they are willing to negotiate. If you don't like the price, they go at
I'm just saying, I'm.
I agree with you, it's too
because
high.
the prices that are.
Yeah, the 33 is too high.
Are never applied to us. And I'm sure that's not a catalog price.
So the one is 33,000, it's definitely out. The Amish guy is 13,500 plus tax. Was there a third one? There's only two.
Yeah, 13 looks good at 33. I thought they had a third one listed, but I don't see nothing. I've got 3 drawings. Same one. Yeah, they are. So this year. That's that. That's like a
Now,
lip
y'all
and
looking at
bag.
apples and apples as far as what they bid on, I mean. are they
No, they're
similar types?
different. They're different style.
So what you really need is a bid for the same type of product, it sounds like.
Well, they're similar. I mean, they're 22. One's 22 feet.
I think they're both the same. They're both 22.
Yeah.
I thought I heard that one of the products has stations for connections.
That's the high dollar one.
I bet they would negotiate if you want to do that.
They're not gonna negotiate $20,000. I'm telling you right now, they're not even close.
Is it similar to what the courtrooms have, where they have the outlets that pop up and things like that for the?
It's hard to tell off of
This
this picture.
doesn't, from our drawings, it doesn't include any of that. These are just actually the drawings of one.
Well, you can
It's like
see
a
that.
half moon conference table.
It's like what the school board has. It's exactly what the school board has. They've got like front panels, so you don't really see what's on the table and little things at the top, from what I understood.
What about bulletproof glass?
That's it.
The Amish desk just looks like a
Is that the
table, basically, to me. Unless, I mean, the drawing's not very good, but it's just it doesn't have anything on top of it. It just looks like a flat top, from as far as I can tell. unless they
Solid
don't-
surface countertop.
I just think it's something to be like this, except more you
Yeah, it'd be more like this with nothing
without the
on the
shelf
top.
across the top.
Because I think that's what. the
I mean, I
office-
like this, but I just don't like it $33,000.
Did that not have a thing that come up on the top too?
That's it right there.
Oh, okay,
You see it's in 3-dimensional.
gotcha, okay,
You would be commissioner
Yeah.
on-
I like that, but
yeah, that's what was on.
I don't know if this table make him do some more investigating on it or not.
I'd recommend table it and ask for better drawing and a little bit better description, at least on the home equipment that just says.
I mean, I like the shelf so people can't see all of our mess, but not for $33,000.
I'm not voting for anything that kind of money.
That's me either. I make a motion to table it and get some more information.
I'll second that.
Unanimous.
And more information means better pictures.
Better pictures from the Amish mainly.
And definitely a better description of what, I mean, just.
What kind of materials are it?
He's got on there that it can change by the color of the surface. We need to know what it's gonna change for what colors. Because we may say we want walnut and he says, well, that's 5,000. We need to know.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve prior minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'd say
I'll,
second.
I will second it, and then since Shane wasn't here, all in favor? Do I have a motion to sign payroll and claims?
I'll make a motion to sign payroll and claims.
I'll second.
Unanimous.
You asked a few minutes ago if there's any other questions.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. If you don't mind, come on. Yeah.
Jeff Evans, I live out on, my address is 9230, 350 West, County Road 350 West. The county road on the north end is 275 north, and on the south end is 385 north on angle. So it changes, but it's the old Devil's Ridge Road. And I've been talking with the county garage for several years, getting ditching done. Water, when we get heavy rains, about 15, 20 mile an hour on patch, you can go down the road. So there's so much water that runs down the road, and it's been chip sealed. It was gravel for years, and it's chip sealed. And you guys have been out there and done wedging with coal mix, and, but you just got patches over patches over patches, and it's really bad. And I was just wondering, like I said, I talked after this spring, and they told me that there was something going to be done this year because it was on some kind of plan this year, some community plan or something. You guys are really going to do something.
I wish you would have stood up when Jeff Burton was still here, because he would have known the answer.
There he is. He just walked
Hey,
in.
catch him,
Catch Jeff going out the door.
please. He's the road boss. I mean, he can probably tell you, you know, more of.
Okay.
And I would kind of like to hear you say it in here, so that way I do.
Okay.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the last one. You just.
Devil's Ridge Road, what's the plan for that, and are you doing it this year?
Yeah, we plan on doing it this year, yes.
And what is the plan?
We're gonna pave it all the way through.
Pave it
Yes.
with ourselves?
Ourselves, yeah.
So that would be a cool mix,
Yes,
pave.
Yep.
Okay. Any plan on doing any ditching?
yes, we have to do some deburring and stuff on it before we pave.
Okay. I appreciate that. One other matter, I am the DPW manager out here at MUTC now. And Major Johannesmeyer out of Atterbury has asked about that 425 East. He was thinking that it was an NDOT road, or state road, I'm sorry, state road, and he thought it would be NDOT's to deal with. Well, I've worked for NDOT for 18 years, so I contacted NDOT, and they told me that it was not listed. And I was the manager here at the North Vernon maintenance garage, and we never did do anything on that road, and they said that road was not there. So I talked with actually got a hold of the head engineer over there, and they said that it was it's a CPAC, because of CPAC out there, and that it was probably listed in the division of forestry. Do you know, it's 425, is that a county road?
Didn't you always think it was state? We're talking the one right across, right across from
It's
Brush
the
Creek.
one from the Highway 50 back to.
That's always
to
the old, it was a state road the whole time. It was Muscatatuck State Developmental Center.
Okay.
Now,
I've been, I mean, we pushed the snow on it, but as far as like the road itself, I assume it's state's responsibility.
That's what Major Johannesmeyer thought would be a state road, but NDOT, it's not on their, in their scope of.
They probably
just lost it.
just took it off because when the state school shut down, they thought, oh, we're out of this.
We're not getting no money for that road.
Is that the one
Jeff,
from the fire department?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
We ran into trouble with the Campbell Township Fire Department address with the elections. And that road, your road into MUTC, does not come up in 911 as the name of that road. It doesn't come up, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't even show the road.
No, I can't get it to, we tried all these different addresses right in that area to try and get it to get the voters to the correct fire station there, and it doesn't exist. Is that anything that we can, because I couldn't even get it to go to UTC on there. It was all wonky in that little area.
Well, I can assure you, last time it was paved, the state done it.
Okay. Well, NDOT told me to go to the division of forestry and talk to them about their CPAC, because that's probably gonna have to go through them. They'll be like, funding would probably have to come, because I think they're listed.
But see, it doesn't make sense for it to be CPAC, because like the road in front of them,
Right.
I just paved it, it's ours. I don't understand that. I think it was all tied to the state school. I think you're gonna have to dig back.
It is a county road because Britt and I just discussed this with, Don Beely came in with the addressing issue.
Yes.
And it is on GIS as 425 East. And it is a county road.
It's not a county road.
It's,
It might be labeled
Yeah.
as a county, as a, for that, I mean, I agree, it's got the right number, but I just don't think we've ever been funded to do anything with that road.
And the reason I can tell you, I know for sure, is because you know, as well as I do, the state has their own way of installing stop signs and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And all those stop signs up through there are state stop signs. Those are definitely not county stop signs.
so is that where it was the state
Because-
hospital and
Yes.
the private entrance?
Yes.
Yes, when it was the state school, did you guys used to push the snow when it was the state high school or the state school?
No, we
You never did push the
NDOT
snow?
never, that I know of, never plowed snow on.
So what we need to do then is
Get Jim on it.
we need to request that become a county road and then put it on the county road log so we can be funded to take care of it.
We want it paved before that though, because it needs paved.
Well, I mean, the culverts have been replaced and the joints are all.
Oh, it's terrible. I'll agree with you, but like I said, I've had, we've talked about it with my road boss and I don't really think it's ours.
So I need to get with NDOT and see if.
I think we'll need to do some digging.
But we're on the address too, because it's a big problem.
The address is right,
But it doesn't nav to it at all.
but you can't, we've got problems all over the county with Google. You can't help all these other practices.
Where is the correct route to go?
But if you call 911 and request that address, you will get service.
That you can't get a package delivered to it. I can't use it. Do you have any idea where the route to go would be? I mean, would it be?
You can just file a complaint with Google or Yahoo Maps or whoever that mapping system is with.
Well, you opened up a big can of worms.
Yeah.
But it's been going on for a while, it's a concern.
But anyways, that proves what we're talking about. If you can't get the package delivered to the county township. But I'm telling you, that was a state road.
Yeah, I'm sure it was at the state hospital, and that Johannesmeyer said that he was pretty sure it was a state road. And so that's when I contacted NDOT, went on, but they, like I said, they probably removed it. Let's go.
If he's in contact, why don't you, yeah, you're right, they did.
The hospital did.
Yes. Why don't you tell Joe Henningsmeyer that we would like that to become a federally owned
That's what I was
road?
gonna look on my other map.
And they just take it up. Because with their military, Well, yeah, I mean, they're constantly using that road anyway, so what,
Yeah.
they can.
Right.
they can-
Well, actually, the state.
They're gonna be using it more than everybody else.
That's what
The
my
state,
feeling
the state
is.
still owns everything out there. Federal Road just leases
We
it.
just looked on two different maps and got two different road names.
Yes.
Administrator Drive is what one of them says, and the other one says 425.
It's
I mean,
not
we
that
don't have-
wanna do anything to it, it's that we don't think it's ours.
Right.
I mean, like I said, we're taking care of the snow, but I just don't feel like the pavement's our responsibility at this time.
Yeah.
But I'll admit it needs something done.
Yeah.
The voters are your responsibility though, and we gotta get them to that site without being confused and everybody thinking we're trying to not give them the correct direction.
That's the new Campbell Township.
Correct.
Yeah, they're right off the highway
Correct,
there.
and their address doesn't,
Okay.
Do you know what their address is?
not off the top of my head. It's not that,
Administrator Drive.
it's not administrative right, because I tried that too, and it just takes me to the.
Didn't he say he would go right to school, bad grades, just walk in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, that's why we ran in the paper across from the school.
Well, I will get back with NDOT, see if they can look back on the record of when that was paved and what's been done legally as far as that road. But I mean, it's still state property back there.
Right. I'll check with Jim tomorrow. He's off today, but I'll see what I can find out on my side.
Or if I can't work.
That's all right, thank you, buddy, good to see you.
Yep, good to see you.
Now, we're gonna have
Okay, I'll sign it.
Please state your name.
Nikki who?
Tina has a state called Treasurers Conference next week. I hadn't seen the travel request, but she did email me. I did find it. I don't know how I missed it. But I do have a copy of it. It's next week, August 2nd through the 4th at French Lick.
No gambling.
For her office, it's $949.88. That's the mileage over there, the room, and the cost of the registration.
Do I have a motion to approve the travel request? You're gonna get us the paper though, correct?
Yeah,
I
I
have
approve
the
it with the
paper.
papers. Contingent, you get the paper.
I have it. I just missed it and didn't print it off.
Send it by.
I'll say.
And over by the restaurant, in one parking lot. Does anyone else have anything before we? Bob's quick on the gun on making a motion to adjourn. So if you guys got anything, speak now before Bob just like jumps up and says, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will ask that, you maybe take a look at the carpeting downstairs in the courthouse. We have a lot of thresholds that are rattling and a lot of, ridges that have come loose in the bottom. And I don't know if that was already in your plan, it was right upstairs, but we will have voters coming in and there are there's some tripping hazards.
Anytime you notice even one of those, if you don't mind, bring those to Greg's attention like ASAP, because we don't want any tripping balls.
Greg said bring it to yours.
Greg said bring it to ours.
Well, we'll bring it to Greg's attention. How about that?
So I'm running in circles here, everybody knows now it's in all your ballpark. But,
So are you talking about all of it or just from where to where?
so in the election office, the thresholds have graveling coming up and ridges, and you'll have walking voters putting it there. And then in our office, we have a lot of these parcels coming up. I don't know much of the hallway.
So it's all downstairs.
All
everything.
downstairs.
Send somebody to you, you can tell them what to do. How's that?
There you go. They did
You
the
pass
squares and that makes it a lot nicer. You don't have to take out desks. You can keep going.
Right away and sign these meeting minutes, you can all let know.
You can't sign the one that you wasn't
Just
at.
pass those on.
Matt, I will tell you a little bit more. Andrew and I, as far as the election board was discussing, we have looked at the pay for the poll workers. It's extremely low for the day they put in. They have to arrive at 5 a.m. and they, of course, close the polls at 6. That's a 13-hour day. It takes them until at least 7 if it's a nice, easy vote to count everything, do all the paperwork and come. So you're talking, you're at 14 hours there. The pay is set by the county election board, and they have asked for us to look at it to raise it. Of course, it does go with the council to have to approve it. We looked at our budget, and we believe that we can add to that. And we think we can add an additional $50 for each poll worker. That adds another about 6,500 to each election on that. But it brings the pay up from about $6 an hour to maybe $10 an hour for the day. So we are looking at that as well. I know you guys on finance, that you're over some of the election with the sites and stuff, but that does just give you a little information on what we're trying to do.
$6 an hour.
It's very, yes.
It's been that way for years, hasn't
It
it?
has. It has. I will say I checked, and a lot of the counties are very low on their poll workers, but it's a long day. We have trouble getting workers, and I think we need to pay them. It's an important thing that takes place.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how you've been getting people for that.
The Republicans have been on their response. There's the Democrats that have a lot of trouble, but, and I will say that as our inspectors came through and brought in their results with their Democrat judge, that about at least almost all of them said that their team for the day, Democrats and Republicans, had already discussed at the end of last election that they were good to go and that they wanted to be the same team for the next election, so it wouldn't be a problem. But I do think that we need to raise that, and I think the county election board has the authority, and I think I have it in the budget. I can find it, so I may have to move a little money around, which comes. Does that come to council, Kitty, or does that come to commissioners? Moving around, council.
Thank God for the people that want to donate their time, I guess.
You wouldn't hear any argument from me if it's $6 an hour, because I don't know how you can get anybody to do anything.
It only brings it up to about 10, and that's for the short day. If they have to stay longer, I will say those poll pads really made it a lot more efficient and quick. So that was good. They were very impressed with that. So making great strides.
Okay, anybody else have anything?
Nate, you don't have nothing?
Speak now for all your keys.
Not for the general public.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
See, I told you he was on the. He's ready.
I'll second it.
Unanimous.
All right.